is there any data that we can lean on that shows how effective these different avenues, oh God, I'm going to use military lingo, but Joe will get it, these different avenues of approach that we can go down to uh, and see what materializes as what's most effective. For example, I have a very large, following on social media, but it doesn't mean anything if I pump out a million view YouTube video or thing that doesn't materialize in anything. But phone banking, for example, how many calls do you have to go through that turns into a donor or a voter or Joe, like you were talking about at a protest, or Andy, what you're writing, in the paper. Like, do we have any sort of data that we can lean on to kind of see what metrics we can strive for to what
Yeah.
I
I
guess?
think I think there's a lot of that out there, Josh. That's a great question. And there's a reason why campaigns do door knocking, do phone banking, in particular over and over again, is because they are proven to have worked in campaign after campaign. I will also tell you personally, in my campaigns, every precinct that we've ever mailed handwritten postcards in, we have seen an increase in voters and Democratic voters and voter turnout. And that's one of the things we talked about on one of our prior action calls with our volunteers. So those things are out there. And what I tell people is, and I think we've done a good mix of it tonight, which is be active online and offline. Find a way to reach people in both spaces because people live in both spaces. We need to fish where the fish are. So it's great if you're tagging me under Marsha Blackburn's post and saying there is an alternative out there, but then I need you to have that conversation with your hairdresser when you're sitting down in their chair too. So find a way. Not everybody has to do everything, but everybody can do something. You can make a TikTok reel that says, I'm voting for Jerry Green because, and then you can also get a t-shirt and then wear it to your grocery store and have somebody be like, hey, who's Jerry Green? All of that matters. We need all kinds of touches. But the things that there's a ton of data around is phone banking, text banking, and doors as being really effective. Of course, mail, political mail, there's a lot of data out there about that. But we have seen in particular, handwritten postcards are almost as good as a knock on a door.
Okay. Awesome, awesome. I just wanted to inquire about that.
I think Joe had his hand up. Did you take your hand down, Joe?
I took my hand down because you pretty much nailed it. I wanted to add one little piece though, since you said my name. Covering all the bases, I think, is important, which you pretty much said. But I think, regardless of one thing or a few things being really effective, I think we just cover the gambit. Let's flood the zone, as they
Yeah.
say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so again, I'm going to plug our past volunteer calls too, because we talked about hosting events. We talked about writing postcards and having postcard parties. We talked about a lot of different things in our other volunteer calls, and all of them are important. We had a whole thing on mutual aid and how to get plugged in on mutual aid, how to call your reps, like, and how to get other people to call their reps. Like Alex said earlier, we need to start caring now and showing that we care now about these issues. All of it is important, and there's so many different ways. So, like, Andy is fantastic with the written word, and Josh is great on a camera. Whatever it is that your talent, your skill, use that. Lean into that. Stretch yourself a little. Go ahead and sign up for a phone bank and see if you can handle 20 calls. Set yourself a goal. Look, Josh is shaking it. Look, the fall of democracy, Josh. You
I'd
got to
be
get on the phone.
arguing with too many people, Councilwoman. You
We're
know
not
that.
we're not giving you people to argue with. We're not giving you people to
I
argue with.
could
That's the
find a
thing.
way. You know
I'll tell
that.
you about that's the number one thing we hear about when I ask people if they would make phone calls or knock doors. They are very worried that we're going to put them in places where they are going to have to argue, where they are going to have to defend, where they are going to have to be against someone who's antagonistic. That's not what we're doing. We're just trying to get good solid Dems to the polls and to know that I'm out there and that I'm running.
Yeah. And just to add to that, I'll say to the data point, Josh, um, and the flooding the zone, Joe, there's a lot of data that also shows that doing multiple of these things on top of each other is far more effective. So that's not to say that you have to do those things. That's just to say that all of us doing our part and doing all of these different things, mail and canvassing and all of this, data shows that that is really, really effective. Um, And before I ever saw the data, I was deputy for Justin Pearson, and I literally like mapped out the data of what we did, and when we canvassed and when we phone banked together, that was the most effective thing that we could do. Like, and that is what the data tells us. When you knock a door and when you phone bank together, that was effective. But yes, we will be doing all of the things. Any other questions? Bob, I see your question in the chat. Can you clarify what you mean for me? Can you give us camera ready on the one side? Like, can we give you our lit on one side and then y'all can print something on the other? Is
Yes.
that
So you said that you would have it for the three different regional areas, local resources for mutual aid and assistance and that sort of thing. My guess is that maybe if it's East Tennessee, you're going to tell it's going to be printed up with Knoxville stuff. And we're Northeast Tennessee, and we have mutual aid and we have other resources here. So if we get camera ready, that's yours. And then we could develop the other side for this specific area, send it to you to make sure you're okay with it, and do printing here. That's my
We
idea.
love that. We love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
definitely do that. And also feel free to send me, Bob, some of the local resources. So what we did with Memphis and what we'll do with the others is try to make it more region based. So not necessarily particular to a city. We'll include some resources that serve a whole region, ideally. So we're not in the situation where it's somebody from Johnson City saying, okay, this doesn't apply to me.
Okay, we'll send you some things quickly so you can see if that can fit on in the same region with Knoxville, Chattanooga. Great.
Yes, please. Any other questions,
And
y'all?
I see a question from Jenny. I was at Shelby Farm, so it's talking about different ways to reach voters. This weekend, I went and sat in a coffee shop for 4 hours and talked to constituents. If you would love to have me in your neck of the woods and do that, I would love to do that. So reach out to Alex, and we'd love to set up a block of time just to have people come and talk to me about their issues. It went great. I'm in Memphis. I live here. I got to go to work. But we do have an event coming up on Thursday night. For those of you who don't know, of course, the slogan is One Tough Mother, but I did a while back start a PAC called Mother Funders to help more moms get into office. And we are endorsing a candidate in this upcoming election for our local county commission, and we're holding a fundraiser with her this Thursday night at Bell Tower in Midtown, the other Bell Tower, not the one at Shelby Farms. So if you're in Memphis and you want to come see me and see another fabulous mom, Alex just dropped that in the chat. And then, of course, all of our events are online. And yes, we'll be back in Oak Ridge next Sunday. Glad you're bringing a lot of friends. Please check our events page. We're updating it constantly. And we are trying to get out there as much as possible. So when we show up, we love when you show up. Oh, this is a good thing, Ariel, that you just said.
Yeah.
Ariel said also for every calls you make, you get a live person on average. You can typically make 30 to 40 calls in an hour live and maybe 60 to 80 if you use an auto dialer. Yeah, you would be surprised at how fast you can go through a list. And again, because sometimes you are leaving a message, then you're not talking to live people, so it doesn't take that long. And auto dialers, they go ahead and dial the numbers for you, so that makes it even faster. And then so if it hangs up or something, it just sends you right to the next one. But this is true for our campaign, for other campaigns, for other causes that you care about. I used to do phone banking with Moms Demand. Text banking is very similar to. Please don't be intimidated by it. Like Ariel said, just get out there and try it, and make it tipsy if you have to get over that little bit of courage. I'm here for tipsy and pajama phone banking combined. That sounds fantastic, Ariel.
Any last questions before we wrap? I hope this has been helpful to you. This is always helpful to us too. It's so good to hear from leaders across the state and learn from you and what you're doing. Bingo, we're definitely going to do that on our campaign. So we're learning from this as much as I hope you are learning from this too. So thank you all so much. We are doing these calls monthly. We will have another one of these, I believe, at the end of the month. So keep an eye out on our Facebook page. Again, I'm just going to plug that on our YouTube. We have the other two calls where we talk about some different topics, and some other calls to action, as if we didn't give you enough today. But if you're looking for other different kinds of things to do, That is all on our YouTube. Please keep an eye out on our pages. Again, I will send you all of this in an email. We will send over our slideshow, the information that you need, Ariel's slideshow if she'll send it to us, and then yeah, some of the calls to action we talked about. Jerri, do you have any last words?
I just hope that whether it's my campaign or somebody else's campaign or just a cause that you care about, the you get plugged in, that you get active, because there's so many things happening out there right now. There's a lot for us to be upset about, and sometimes it can feel overwhelming. So find an action, and I promise you will feel better once you start taking action, once you start moving forward. You are going to feel a difference. Every little bit is going to make you feel better that you're out there making a difference and helping people who are trying to make a difference, helping causes that are trying to change our world. As Ariel's great quote, we've got to be the change that we seek. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope it's been helpful, and we'll see you next month.